Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
And what needs to be said is hello and welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Paul Markle. And thank you for joining us today, however it is that you happen to be joining us. And we know that there are many, many, many ways for you to join us on Student of the Gun Radio. You can join us on the iTunes or the Stitcher or the Podcast Gallery or our mobile app. Or if you are a Google Play aficionado, then you can listen to us on Google Play, too.
I would recommend that right now, while you're listening to this, if you're not driving, look at your phone or the device that you're listening.
Yeah, not if you're driving, though.
Yeah, not if you're driving. Go to studentofthegunradio.com and look at the show notes for this episode. 369. It'll be on the homepage. Just go to studentofthegunradio.com, click on the first one.
There's show notes?
69.
369er.
Did you know that I'm no weatherman, but you could expect a few inches tonight?
Really?
I was just thinking about the pickup line.
From yesterday? Pickup lines from yesterday? Yeah, you got to be careful of the pickup line. Oh, man. Yeah.
Is that painful?
There's that. So there's that. And then, I don't know, maybe I haven't said anything creative lately because it's been like at least a week since one of our meme monsters went to work. I don't know. I thought for sure that they were going to do Monday's meme, but apparently they couldn't come up with something good.
I don't know what was on Monday.
About the...
it's Thursday now, so that was 3 days ago.
Should you eat a hog? Should you eat a wild boar? You shouldn't eat the big boars because if you can smell them before you see them, that's not something...
I thought that did get memed.
That's not something you want to be eating, no. Not to my knowledge. And I busted your mother out about not shooting the armadillos. Of course, they hit me, and then I unawares, and so I've been watching for them. I don't stay up all night long, but I've been watching, and those suckers haven't come back. Your mom's the one who goes out at night and takes the dogs out and stands on the porch and what have you. But I think what happens if you let the dogs out initially, then they run off. The dogs scare them away, and they wait until the dogs go back in, and then they proceed to tearing up your yard.
You still haven't capped that armadillo yet?
No, I haven't. And I'm pretty sure there's more than one because the amount of damage that was done to the lawn, either that or it might have been an armadillo on SWAT fuel or something, but I think it was probably more than one.
Real quick, I'm going to do a very short SWAT field testimonial. When I came in today, I felt like crap because I haven't been sleeping. And I took some SWAT fuel when I came in, and now I don't feel like crap anymore. I actually feel like I can talk.
And if you're going to take SWAT fuel, take a notebook. Have a notebook or a whiteboard or something near you because your brain's just going to be popping. As a matter of fact, some of the show notes that are in today's show were actually written after I worked out yesterday.
I wrote down 2 more fitness topics while I was in there.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, it is Thursday, the last public broadcast of the week, but fear not. We got almost we got a full show for you guys. Not almost, but we got another 40 minutes or so. And then, of course, tomorrow, which is Friday, is the hour-long bonus episode, which if you feel so inclined, you can jump on into. Jared will help you. He'll help you out as much as he can there. I know a lot of you guys are taking advantage of the grad program, and good on you.
Yeah, you can do it for $1.
I was going to say, you look like you wanted to say something, so I shut up.
Oh, that's a first.
Shut up.
You're much better at talking than I am, so that's a good thing.
You know what I like to talk about right now?
Pop music.
Pop music. In addition to pop music, the really super cool G-Wiz Gladius that we got from B4 Gear, and that's Bravo.
We didn't get a Gladius from them.
Well, the Gladius Scabbard. Okay, the Gladius Scabbard, the Scabbard for for my sword came from B4 Gear. That's Bravo, the number 4, Gear.
.net.
.net, not .com, .net. Any hooser, it's a custom one, and it says Student of the Gun on it because it was Duracoated.
I'm actually curious as to where the B4 Gear name came from. So, Jason, if you go ahead and post that somewhere, probably in the grad program.
It's probably on the website.
Yeah, it might be.
Anyway, if you guys missed out on that, you go over to the Student of the Gun Facebook page, and Jared has figured out how to directly live stream video to you from the Facebook page. So we've been doing that a whole lot more here lately. But Duracoat products, because, well, quite frankly, life's too short to have an ugly gun. You can go to LauerWeaponry.com and pick them up, or you can go to Brownells and pick them up. And while you're at Brownells.com shopping for ammo or parts or scope rings or whatever, go ahead and throw some Frog Lube into your cart, your digital electronic cart. And why? Because Frog Lube's green, it's minty fresh, and it just works. And we already talked about SWAT fuel, and Jared did a little promo, but don't forget, when you go to SWATfuelstore.com, you're going to use the promo code SOTG2015, and you're going to save yourself some money, and that's a good thing.
Is that a good thing?
Absolutely.
Saving money?
I think it is, but, who am I?
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see it's never shown.
Well, Nanny Bloomberg is at it again, and thank you very much to Puddle of Mud for our Slave State news. Nanny Bloomberg, a guy who never met a piece of legislation that he didn't like, a guy who thinks that you silly, silly, silly peasants just shouldn't have guns. As a matter of fact, it wasn't enough for him to enslave the people of New York. Oh, no. He wants to enslave the entire nation. Because why? Because he's a megalomaniac and he's a piece of crap. But besides that, let's talk about what Nanny Bloomberg's up to now. Because remember, he's much smarter than you, and he knows what's good for you peasants. Bloomberg Group chips in $500K for new Washington ballot measure. Jared, you ever wonder why somebody who has amassed that amount of money would feel the need to spend it promoting civilian disarmament legislation?
No.
You never wondered why? You never thought maybe that if he stays on the good side of the ruling class power structure, because we know...
So he can not have to pay taxes?
So he gets to be part of the ruling class. He gets to be invited to the cool kid parties. He gets to be part of the elite group that tells you what you have to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Because he's proved with his money that he's part of the he's a good party man. He's towing the line. Every town go fornicate yourself. Every town has sweetened the pot for gun control advocates looking to add a voter referendum on Washington State's extreme risk protection order to its ballot this November. The Byzantine 21-page proposal I-1491 would establish extreme risk protection orders, not regular risk protection orders, not civil protection orders, not temporary protection orders, but extreme risk protection orders. So you know that they've got to be really important, right? I mean, you know that. To the state to allow families and law enforcement officers to ask the courts to issue temporary restrictions on an individual's gun rights. Okay. A similar proposal was adopted in California after a disturbed man attacked the campus of the University of California, Santa Barbara at Isla Vista. Now,
I think it's Isla Vista.
Isla? It's ISLA. Isla? I don't know. Isla Vista? Wasn't this the young crybaby douche nozzle that went on a killing spree because nobody would go out with him? Isn't that what that was all about? It says yada, yada, yada. Now, riddle me this, Batman. Do you notice that in this... because the parents of the douche nozzle in question, they thought he shouldn't have had guns. But what they don't ever say is that the douche nozzle in question committed multiple homicides and assaults, and only a portion of the homicides, in only a portion of those homicides, did he use a firearm. He also used a knife, and he attempted to kill people by running them over with his car. So apparently, if we follow this to its logical conclusion, then if we get the extreme risk protection order passed, then the people on the list will not only be disbarred of having a firearm, but apparently sharp objects and motor vehicles too. Right? I mean, that it's for the safety of the children. Is it not correct? I mean, for the safety of the children. Now you say, well, Paul, why are you against this? Well, number one, we're in the process of creating more lists of undesirables. And number two, are we talking about people who have been previously convicted of crimes? Well, no. If they were previously been convicted of crimes, then they would already be on the list. We're talking about creating lists of people who currently aren't on a list. Oh, okay. Now, how do you deprive people lawfully? How do you legally deprive people of their rights in the United States? Well, it used to be way back when those crazy old white guys, 240 some years ago, when those crazy old white guys got together and they decided to have a country of their own, and they were really concerned about individual liberty and self-determination. And, we had a little war, and then after the war was over, we had an Articles of Confederation, and we decided we were going to improve upon it, or at least we thought we were. We came up with a Constitution and a Bill of Rights. And they said in there, they're like, we just can't have the state arbitrarily denying people of their God-given rights, of their natural rights. There are very few natural rights in existence. I know that in our modern vernacular that everything that anyone wants ever has become a right, but that's not really the case. There are very few inalienable rights. And so they put these safeguards in there so that government employees couldn't just come along someday and arbitrarily take your property. That in order to do that they would have to go through this crazy antiquated idea of due process of law. Now, in due process of law, you have the right to face your accusers. You have the right to hear the charges levied before you. Really? Yes, you do. In due process of law, you have the right to have an attorney present. You have the right to a trial by a jury of your peers. And then there are other rights. You have the right to appeal and so on and so forth. That is called due process of law. And that was put in place so that someday when people, nannies, little nanny Bloombergs and elitists got into power, they couldn't just arbitrarily say, you know what? We've decided that you peasants, for your own good, we're just going to take that from you. But that's my lawfully owned property. Yeah, I know that it was your lawfully owned property, but we put you on a special list. And what you aren't quite getting here is the people that are on the special list, they don't get to keep their property. Like, but what are you saying, Paul, that you want lunatics and maniacs to have guns? How long is it before you are on a list? All of you pro-list people, all of you are like, well, for the safety of the children, I think that anybody who wants to should be able to. Are we disbarring people from the ability to vote for the highest office in the nation, for the most powerful person in the free world? Are we going to disbar them from that? Well, no, that would be racist and xenophobic, and that would be all kinds of phobic and things. No. Well, are we going to come and take their cars and houses and their money? And well, maybe, but probably not, because, well, why are we going to take their guns? Because guns are bad, and you can hurt people with guns. You mean like the lunatic piece of crap in Santa Barbara who, because he couldn't get a date, went out and he first stabbed a bunch of people to death, then he shot some people, then he ran some people over, like that guy? So this would have stopped that guy. Yeah, you notice how they never point that out? They never say, he killed people with a gun if we only would have more reasonable gun control. And you're like, yeah, but he stabbed people to death too, and then he ran people over with his car. So how does gun control keep a lunatic from driving a car up onto a crowded sidewalk? Yeah, exactly. Shut up. Nanny, we thought you'd like to know that Nanny Bloomberg is once again meddling in other people's affairs, because that's what nannies do. They meddle. Now, meddle is not M-E-T-A-L, all you guys out there. No, meddle is M-E-D-D-L-E, and it's a verb. It means to involve oneself in a matter without right or invitation, to interfere officiously and unwantedly. I think that fits Nanny Bloomberg to a T, don't you think, Jared?
Yes.
To involve oneself in a matter without right or invitation, and to interfere officiously and unwantedly. So maybe the good people in the state of Washington could tell Nanny Bloomberg to venture forth and fornicate with himself. Now let's go back to the crazy time in America, crazy time in the colonies, back before there was a United States of America, back when we just had like these colonial regions in the New World. And, the sitting government at the time decided that these radical peasants, they need to not have guns. And the fact that the radical peasants have the same kind of guns as the government does, we're not really down with that. And they've been saying some stuff and writing some stuff, and they have radical thoughts and ideas. And so back in March and April of 1775, they started coming up with lists of people that they weren't down with. The government, the sitting government authority, I guess you could say the state, the federal authorities, the central authorities, they weren't down with that. So they came up with a list, and they decided that they were gonna arrest some people for thinking and speaking bad things. They weren't in agreement with the king and the parliament and the sitting authority figures, so we're going to arrest them. But we're not just going to arrest them. We've decided that they're not allowed to have those guns and powder and cannons and military stores anymore. So what happened was, you might not know this, is the colonists heard that the state, that the government authority figures were coming to take their guns. So you know what they did? Under cover of darkness, they crated up all their muskets and cannons, cannonballs. They crated them all up, and they put them on ships, and they sent them off to Canada to hide them from the authorities. And you're like, what? I don't remember ever hearing that part of history. I don't remember them, the colonists, so when the government got there, they walked out with their hands empty, and they're like, we don't have any guns. And they smiled. They smiled, winked, and nodded at each other, knowing that all their guns had been boxed up to go live with their relatives, their distant relatives in Canada. We tricked you guys. Okay, I'm kidding with you. No, what did they do on Lexington Green? Did they walk out with protest signs that said that they demanded gender equality? Yeah, that's what they did. The colonists all painted signs that say, "We demand gender equality and a safe space from the king." No, they walked out onto the green with their guns in their hands. What? How? Hey, Jared, what do we know from Sheriff What's-His-Nuts out there in Oregon? What did Sheriff What's-His-Nuts say? This isn't America.
I'm not sure who Sheriff What's-His-Nuts is.
Sheriff What's-His-Nuts in Oregon after the hostage roasting team gunned that dude down.
Yeah.
This is not what we do in America. We don't arm up and rebel. Actually, if you had a history book there, Sheriff What's-His-Nuts, apparently Sheriff What's-His-Nuts did not go to high school or junior high in the United States of America, apparently, or he slept through history class. He slept through American history. Actually, up until the age of the modern mangina that we're currently living in, when the American citizen got angry and was being put upon by the state, that's exactly what he did do. He armed up and rebelled, and thank the Lord that 241 years ago that we didn't have these soy-fed manginas that we have today. Thank the Lord that our forefathers still had some huevos. That instead of, and they didn't have wives that said, "Oh no, honey, don't go out there and get involved. You stay here." No, their wives are like, "Here's your pack. Here's some sandwiches. Go. Get out. Go do what needs to be done. Come back with your shield or on it." Okay, they probably didn't say that, but you get the sentiment. This is what I'm going to tell you today. I know a lot of people. I've encountered many people from California and New York and New Jersey and the glorious People's Republic of Massachusetts, Connecticut, and so forth. And they've told me that when such and such law was passed, that their guns went to live with their relatives in Virginia, or they went to live with their relatives in Pennsylvania or in Arizona. All of you West Coast slaves, how many of you West Coast slaves out there have AR-15s that are in storage or living with relatives in Arizona or New Mexico or Nevada? Yeah. Oh, did I just touch a nerve? Hiding your guns is a tactic, okay? Hiding guns is a tactic, and don't get me wrong, human beings in various forms of warfare throughout the entire history of the world have stashed guns and hidden guns and transported arms, whether it's swords and lances, bows, crossbows, muskets, whatever. That's a tactic. But you, tax slaves in America, have turned that tactic into a strategy, or at least you think that it is a strategy. Do you understand when the commissar looks out at the peasants and say the peasants are no longer allowed to have this because they can't be trusted, and you say, aha, I'm going to take mine and I'm going to take them out of the state and hide them. Do you realize that whether or not you thought about it, you effectively disarmed yourself? The commissar said, you're not allowed to have an evil, mean, semi-automatic, fully loaded AR-15 rifle with a muzzle device and one of those things that sticks down and you can hold on to and, God forbid, a bayonet lug. the commissar said that you're not allowed to have those. And you said, ha, I'm going to trick you, commissar. I'm going to take it and I'm going to transport it out of the state. And the commissar said, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted you to do, was disarm yourself so you could be a good little tax slave. And you think that you're getting over on them. You're not getting over on them. It's not a strategy. So I got a question for all of you guys who sent your guns on vacation to live with relatives in free states. What have you done since then? What is your strategy? What is your overall strategy to regain freedom and liberty? My strategy was just to load all my guns up and drive them to Arizona. Okay, so you rented a storage locker in Arizona and your guns are living there now. Okay, that's a tactic. That's not a strategy. What is your strategy for regaining liberty? I think that would have been a good time to do that would have been a really good time to do the crickets from silencershop.com.
Oh,
cricket, because that's the answer. When I say, we Jared and I took a class with we took a class from Ken Hackathorn, and there was one person from New York and one person from New Jersey.
I don't need no stinking training. I already know everything I need to know.
That's true. Yeah, most people already know everything they need to know. You and I need to actually take training. But and what did was it the New York guy or one of the two of them told us? Oh no, I don't keep it with me. It lives with a friend of mine in Pennsylvania, and when I want to shoot it, I go down to Pennsylvania and shoot it. So that wasn't your tyranny clue? Folks, let me give you one more clue, and then we're going to go ahead and go into our homeroom segment. If you feel the need to hide your property, and I'm not talking about contraband, I'm talking about property. If you feel the need to hide your property from your government, then you're either a criminal or a slave. If you've taken steps to hide your property from the government, are you a criminal? No, I'm not a criminal. Screw you, buddy. Who do you think you are? I'm not a criminal. But you feel the need to hide your property from the government. You are a slave. Do you get it yet? You can't tell me. I'm going to go listen to the guys who talk about 22s and trap shooting. Bye. Bye. See ya. Don't let the proverbial door hit you in the rectum on your way out. Damn near killed him. So ponder that for a minute. This is what I'm going to leave you with. Hiding your guns is a tactic. It is not a strategy. And they are different. And if you feel the need to hide your AR-15 from the government, that means that you're living in tyranny. That's your tyranny clue. All right. It is Thursday, and because it's Thursday, well, we're going to have a Student of the Gun Homeroom brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters.
What you gonna do when it all comes back to the place that you never wanted it to come back to? And where you gonna roll when the bottom drops out and you got no place to go? Who you gonna trust when trust is a must? You better roll with the rest of us. So pack your bags and all the faith you can, cause it's about ready to hit the fan. Come to the ready. It's 2012, all about the re-election of an antichrist. Come to the ready. You don't believe me, just look deep into the soul like a lion's eyes. Come to the ready. Constitution of our nation.
Come to the ready. Or go send your guns to live with your relatives in Pennsylvania. There's that. Hey, story from, now, we've hipped you to this for a long, long time, but I'm going to hip it to you to it again. I'm going to hippity-hop it to you again. Because why? Because I know there's new people listening each and every single day. Being an armed citizen, being a complete armed citizen is about more than possessing a gun. You need to possess some knowledge, some skill, and some other attributes. And we are very, very happy that a police officer in Philadelphia, which is just insane because, well, Philadelphia is right up there on my list of places to go, like Chicago. in Houston and New Jersey. But a Philadelphia police officer was wounded by gunfire Sunday, and this story is from April 18th, 2016, source PennLive.com. Wounded by gunfire Sunday trying to stop two men from stealing a car, then applied a tourniquet to his own leg to stop the profuse bleeding, officials said. Officer James McCullough was shot once in the left thigh Sunday night. Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney visited him in the hospital. He looks good and he's very strong, except for the fact that they had to amputate his leg. And I'm sorry about that. Oh, no, they didn't amputate his leg. But, Jared, but haven't we been told by every volunteer EMT Bravo and every street corner medic that you should never use a tourniquet only as a last resort after other means have failed because it guarantees amputation? We've been told that, right?
Yes,
oh, but
we have been told that.
Yeah.
And that was never the case, but they thought that was the case.
yeah.
Well, actually, it might have been the case when the medical technology wasn't so
in like
advanced.
1863. Yeah. It's not 1863 anymore. He looks good and he's very strong. The 24-year-old officer and his partner were flagged down Sunday by a woman who told them two men were breaking into her car. Well, why didn't she shoot them? She should have flagged them down to say, hey, I just shot those two guys stealing my car. You can't shoot people for stealing a car, Paul. No, but they can shoot you when you try and stop them. Two men got out and started to run away, police said. Officer McCullough tackled one of the males. Almost instantly, he was shot in his left leg, the commissioner said. The police said McCullough then fired 3 times at the suspect, who continued running before tending to his own wounded thigh. It's important to point out that he applied a tourniquet himself because he was bleeding profusely. Well, thank you for pointing that out, profusely.
Well, it's obviously the criminals.
Why would you ever want to learn to do that?
Obviously, the criminals had the cop's best interest at heart because they only shot him to stop him.
They shot him in the leg just to stop him.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because that can't cause somebody to die.
Oh, no, you shoot him in the leg. Just stop him, Danny Glover.
Until it hits their artery.
Yeah. McCullough's partner drove him to the hospital where he's listed in stable condition. The suspects were taken into custody a short time later. Their names were not released because we don't want to embarrass them. McCullough has been on the force for 2 years. He's engaged to be married and has a 2-year-old daughter. Kind of did it the opposite there, but that's cool. This is what they do. It's a dangerous job, but they do it with pride and professionalism, and we're very proud of them, Ross said. Shouldn't he have tried all other means first, Jared? Because according to now, when I went in 1987 and took the American Red Cross first aid class, they taught us ABC, and that a tourniquet is a last resort after you tried direct pressure and elevating the limb and finding a pressure point, and then only after that, right? No. How about he had an actual tourniquet on him to put on his own body? Jared, shouldn't he have waited? Hey, bro, what are we told? What does every volunteer EMT Bravo?
Just waited till the
professionals arrive. You need to leave medical to professionals. You know what? You know what they didn't say in this? And I think it's probably in the after action. Attorneys for Officer McCullough said that he was planning to sue himself.
Interesting.
Yes, he's planning to sue himself for putting a tourniquet on himself. You guys are like, you're really full of P and V today. Yes, I am full of P and V today because we have a guy who's alive because instead of listening to the street corner morons and the small-minded a-holes of the world, instead of listening to those people, he listened to his training, got some gear, and saved his own freaking life. But people who listen to street corner morons and these elitist EMT Bravo volunteers you can't teach. I got one, Jared. You can't teach people to do that. You can't teach people to put tourniquets on. Do you know how dangerous that is? What if they accidentally save someone's life? What if you get sued?
Then at least I know I still saved somebody's life.
Who you think you're doing this stuff to? You think you're running around like just looking for people? The people that you're most likely to use emergency medical training on is you and your family. It's the Are you riding in a car right now listening to me? Unless you're alone, look around in the car real quick. Then your eyes back on the road. You see the people that are in the car with you? Those are the people that you are most likely to have to save. Those are the people whose lives are at risk that your training and gear could save. We're not talking about running around looking for random strangers to put tourniquets on. We're talking about you, the people that you see when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. Those are the people that you're trying to save. Now, you know what? If you don't want to buy a tourniquet, don't. I don't care. Because I have mine. That's like, I'm tired of trying to encourage people to carry guns. You know what? You don't want to carry a gun? I don't care. Don't care. I've got mine. But if you do, if you actually give a crap, if this has inspired you, get some training and get some gear. I don't care where you get it from. Get it from us, get it from Tactical Response, get it from... I don't care. Just get it. And quit listening to the armchair quarterbacks that tell you don't. This guy didn't listen to the expert advice. And it's a good thing he didn't. Now he's alive. And I say, go team, brother. That's it. Hey. All right, that was it for another week of Student of the Gun Radio. We certainly hope you appreciated and enjoyed an entire week as you're out in your backyard digging a hole to bury your guns.
Maybe they were listening while
they were. You put your favorite podcast on your iTunes and go out and bury your guns.
If we caught somebody in the middle of doing that and they're like, oh, well,
I was boxing my gun up to send to my cousin in Arizona because I'm not allowed to have this anymore. Yeah.
So you've...
Give them their homework assignment, freak.
Yeah, I was just going to say you've just received 4 days, at least. If you're new this week, then you've received 4 days of free material thanks to our wonderful sponsors. So all I ask you to do is share this with one person.
That's right.
Share
it with one person.
One of the episodes this week. Or all of them, I don't care. Pick somebody that you know that needs to hear one of the episodes that we did this week and share it with them.
Oh, and don't forget, if you're going to be in Atlanta for the Concealed Carry Expo, make sure you just say hi. Say, hey, there you are. And we'll say, hey, there you are. And we can tweet about it later. I can tweet that I met you. And if you're not going to be there, don't forget that the NRA annual meeting is going to be in Louisville, Kentucky in May, third week of May. So make plans to go to one of those two events. You will be surrounded by like-minded patriots, especially at the NRA. You can't throw a rock and not hit a patriot there. I tell you what, it's crazy. All right, kids. You're beginner once. You should indeed be a student for life. And grad program, I will talk to you mañana.